Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today we have a tag video. This tag was created by Emma Books and Monica by She Might Be Monica. I'm not being tagged, I just like tag videos. I think they're super fun. If you have not already done this tag, I tag you. Please do this tag, it's super fun. And it is the Roaring 20's book tag, and I believe that Emma and Monica created this for their Diviners reread. I have not read the Diviners series. I just like the 20's. It's a cool time. So I just thought I'd do this tag. It's a bit of fun. Who cares? Let's get on with it. So the first question of the book tag is a 2020 release that you can't wait for. There are quite a few books in 2020 that I am super excited for. However, at the moment, the big standout one to me is the prequel to the Hunger Games trilogy, which is A Ballad of Song and Snakes, which is a Hunger Games prequel by Suzanne Collins. Now, I read the Hunger Games back when I was around 16, 17, and I really loved them. And I thought they were really great. I can't wait, and to get the hype for this series going, I'm actually going to do a reread of the Hunger Games before the book comes out. I think the book is due to come out in May, and I've heard that there's some stuff on mags in there. If you would like to kind of do some sort of reread for it, then a buddy read, please let me know in the comments down below, because we could kind of set that up and that would be really cool. However, I love the Hunger Games, I love the film, I thought the story was super great, and I just can't wait to read them. So the next question is a new release that you loved, and I have read loads and loads of new releases this year. Actually, this year is the year where I have read the most new releases ever, probably. However, the one that kind of stands out to me that I haven't talked about loads is Wayward Son by Rainbow Rowell. This is the sequel to Rainbow Rowell's Carry On series, and it continues the story of a fan. It is the story of the fan fiction that Kath in Fangirl writes about. Kath writes fan fiction on the Simon Snow series, and Rainbow Rowell, being the babe that she is, brought it back to life. And it's really great. It's kind of like a bit of a Harry Potter ripoff. However, I'm a sucker for anything that is Harry Potter themed. So, you know, it was good. I really loved kind of the road trip vibe. I loved the cast of characters, and I thought there was some intense Simon and Baz moments in there that I just loved. I just love Simon and Baz. It's great. It is gay, amazing, magical fantasy, and who doesn't love that in a book? I don't know, but it's just great. I really enjoyed it. It did live up to my expectations, and it was one of the books I was looking forward to most this year, and it didn't disappoint. So the next one is a series that took to book 2 to get good. Now, I have a thing with series. If the first book in the series doesn't wow me and I don't love it, I probably won't carry on to the second in the series. However, I do have a suggestion for this. The Folk and Air series by Holly Black. I read The Cruel Prince really early this year, and it was really great. I really liked it. However, with The Wicked King and Queen of Nothing, I really felt like Holly Black kind of like stepped up her game. Like, the first book was good, however the next 2 books were so addicting, so immersive, and she really stepped up a gear. So if you don't know the story, it follows the story of Jude, who is a human living in fairy. She was actually kidnapped by a fairy and was forced to live out her days in the land of fairy. And it focuses on Jude's adventures, how she finds it as a human living in fairy. It is a dark fae, addictive fantasy story. It's so great. It's really great. However, normally if the first book in a series doesn't impress me, I cannot be bothered to commit my time and energy to a series, even if the writing gets better. I know that with fantasy, often the first book is just an introduction. However, the author has to make me want to read it, because for me, reading a series is quite a huge commitment. It's a lot of time, and I don't want to read books that I don't enjoy. Next question is Bluenose Killjoy, the book that put you in a reading slump. And I guess it was sort of a reading slump, but I recently read The Mime Order by Samantha Shannon, and After this, I was kind of in a reading slump because I didn't know what I wanted to read next. I guess in my heart of hearts, I wanted to just pick up the next book in the series, but I felt like I needed a break. However, in the end, I just ended up doing that anyway, and I just couldn't get into anything. I just needed to know. This book is the second book in the Bone Season series, and it follows Paige, who is a clairvoyant. But she, however, is in a world where this power is illegal. It is a really, really complex sci-fi dystopian fantasy story with so many intricate layers and characters that you really, really need to read. Samantha Shannon blew my mind with this book, and there was a couple of really, really mind-blowing moments, and it took me a while to recover, I must admit. However, it put me in a reading slump to the point that I was like, I'm just going to have to read the next book in the series because there is nothing else that I want to read right now. The next book is Hotsy Totsy, a book with a beautiful cover that you've bought recently. Here, let me get it. One of my most recent buys was Ponte by Shalia Teo, and look at that cover. Look at that cover. I know very, very little about this book. I know it's about a mother-daughter relationship. However, I heard Lauren from Lauren in the Books talk about this, and I also saw this beautiful, beautiful cover when I was in Foyles in London, and I couldn't leave it behind. So that's a beautiful, beautiful new book that I absolutely cannot wait to read. It's really, really clashing with my top, but yeah. Jen is Let's Blouse, a book that you DNF'd. I've DNF'd quite a few books recently. I guess the most prominent one for me was Horns by Joe Hill. I recently read Nosferatu by Joe Hill, and I really, really loved it, and I really, really fell in love with Joe Hill's writing. So I thought when I picked up Horns by Joe Hill that I would really, really enjoy it. However, I read about 8 pages in, and there was some horrific descriptions of fat shaming and just really, really disrespectful, grotesque images describing people who are fat, and I didn't like it. As a fat person myself, I didn't like it. I thought it was really horrible, and the way that this character who was called fat was portrayed, she was portrayed as quite villainous, quite grotesque, quite greedy, and it's just a horrific trope that I absolutely cannot stand in any book, and I put it down instantly. I didn't even get into the crux of the story. I was just like, nah. That is one of kind of like my put downs. I am not going to read a book that where the author has put those descriptions in, used characters that are fat in that sort of way. It's horrible, it's old fashioned, and no, absolutely not. So the next question is a book that caused a book hangover, and this was The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black. I got such a hangover after this book. I needed more. I needed more of the story. I couldn't cope that the world was ending. I couldn't cope that I was going to have no more books in this series. Just made me hang. Just made me so sad. I need another series to obsess about. Yeah, it caused a massive hangover. I still kind of miss the characters now. At some point I'll probably reread it, but it definitely caused a huge book hangover for me. The end of the Roaring 20s book tag. I feel like I've talked about most of the books that I've read really recently. However, those are the ones that are in the forefront of my mind at the minute. So let me know in the comments down below if you've read the Diviners. A big shout out to Emma and the Books, She Might Be Monica, and Sarah without a H for creating this tag. It's really, really great. I tag anybody who hasn't already done this tag to do it in the comments down below. And until next time, see you all again soon. Goodbye.